a good Saturday morning and a very good weekend to all of you. Please use this weekend wisely and continue your CAT preparation by focusing on all the different areas and taking mock tests, right? So today we are going to do some practice questions in DI and LR. But before that, a quick introduction. Hi, I'm Munira Lokhandwala, and I am Calcutta alumna, a serial 100 percentiler in the CAT and a 99 percentiler in the GMAT. You can find me, guys, on the Unacademy Cat channel. I'm also taking a lot of special classes and plus classes on Unacademy app. So please go ahead. Play Store jaiye, download, search and download Unacademy Learning app and install it. Within that, you have to go for the Plus CAT courses. We have close to 200 educators in CAT. That is not a small number, right? We have 200 educators across the country, across sections, and we are starting multiple batches every week, not just for CAT 20, where we are doing revisers, workshops, and crashers, but we are also starting batches for CAT 21. So, whichever exam that you're looking for, guys, CAT 20 or 21, you will find something or the other that fits you perfectly, right? Another thing that you will get when you become a part of the Unacademy community for CAT, right? We are starting the National Scholarship Test. So this scholarship test is starting from tomorrow, Sunday, right? 18th October. And every Sunday, you're going to have one section के ऊपर test. Of course, test तो बहुत है, Unacademy बहुत सारे है, humongous amount of content we have. This test is different because, guys, there are prizes. So you have, for the first 10 rankers, you have 5,000 rupees ka Amazon cash voucher. This is not a small amount, guys. Right? You can use this amount for Dasera, Diwali. I'm sure you can have a lot of fun. So you have vouchers for 5,000, vouchers of 3,000. The first 30 students get some prize or the other. What you need to do is just come and take the test, get a national level rank, and you should be good, right? So please come for the National Scholarship Test. Which subscription to go for, we can talk towards the end of the class. You can use my code Munira10 to get a great discount, right? So let's talk about the puzzle that I gave you all yesterday. You have a box which contains a mixture of black and white balls with more black than white. So black is more than white. A game is played by taking one ball at a time at random and without replacement. If an equal number of each color have been removed, the game stops and the player wins. So, if the number of balls were equal, if black was equal to white, then the player has to win, right? Because in the end, you are going to get equal number of balls, definitely. Last tak to sab balls aap utha loge, correct? And since black is equal to white, you'll get equal number of black and white. So if the black is equal to white, the player has to win. But that's not happening. The black is greater than white. So let's say, how can the winning sequence look? You can have something like a white, followed. Now I can't have a black, right? Because then the game stops straight away. So let's say we have two whites. I can then have a black. But now I cannot have another black, then I will win, right? So let's say I have three whites, and then I have a black, and then I have a black. Now something like this is a winning sequence. A player can win here, right? Now whatever works for white can also work if I start from black. So you have black, black, white, right? Then black, and then white, white. So for every sequence that starts in white, I can have a corresponding sequence in black. Okay, so now any sequence that starts with white, guys, remember white is less than black. So any sequence that starts with white has to end in a win. Why? Because somewhere your number of black balls will either become equal to white and then it will become greater, correct? So let's say if there are 6 white, or 6 is too big. Let's say you have 2 white and 3 black. So worst case, when you start off with 2 whites, somewhere you will get 2 blacks, to compensate for it. before the last black comes in. So any sequence with white has to be a winning sequence. So basically this is about finding the probability of getting a white, right? So probability of getting a white, that is white over white plus black, correct? But for every white there is a corresponding black sequence that also works. So 2 से multiply करना पड़ेगा. And if you have an equal chance of winning or losing, then this whole thing has to be equal to half. So white over white plus black is equal to 1 by 4. Total we know is 12. So white over 12 is equal to 1 by 4. So number of whites has to be equal to 3. Right? Slightly, it's not, the calculation is not very difficult, right? But it is a very interesting way of thinking. Once you get the way of thinking, then this becomes mostly peaceful, right? So great. Let's now continue with some more DI. So there are 6 persons, B, C, A, D, E, and F, sitting in 2 rows facing each other with 3 in each. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. E is not at the end of the rows, so E is somewhere in the middle row, end of any rows, right? D is second to the left of F. So second to the left of F, right? D is not straight away to the left. Either it is D here, gap F, so D is second to the left of F, correct? Or since they are facing each other, let's say F के left में D यहाँ होगा. A is the neighbor of E and it's sitting diagonally opposite to D. So A is opposite to D, right? Now for each of these, let us look at the different possibilities. So let's say this is the first possibility, that D space F, correct? A is the neighbor of E and is sitting diagonally opposite to D. So this is A, this is E. This is one case, there's a gap here, right? The other case is, you have F space D, right? E has to be here, then A is the neighbor of E and sitting diagonally opposite to D. These are the 2 possibilities. C is the neighbor of F. तो यहाँ पे C आ जाएगा, यहाँ पे C आ जाएगा, and you are left with B here and B here. Right? So who's facing F? In both cases, guys, F के सामने you have B. After exchanging seats with E, who will be the neighbors of D in the new position? Okay, so if you exchange seats with E, the neighbor of D is going to be A and B. Right? So D will come to where A is sitting and E will go there. Which of the following are sitting diagonally opposite to each other? So F and B तो है ही, correct? E and C है. You have B and E and D and E. Now, since D has exchanged positions, you are now looking at a position where this is D and this is E. In this new case, the only people as diagonally opposite each other is F and B. Which of the following are in the same row? So original में EAB was in the same row, but in the new, after the exchange of positions, right, you have ECF, right, and then you have ADB. So DE is not in the same row, right? Originally you had EAB in the same row. Great. Let's look at the next set of questions. You have only this diagram as the stem. Okay. Now, what is this diagram about? Before we move on to questions, we should understand. There are three things mapped on this diagram. One is the selling price per kilo, which is here. This is your selling price, wala. To see what is the selling price, you have to look at the rupee per kilo axis. Okay. Then you have a total cost. This is your total cost wala line, correct? This is the total cost. And yahan pe bhi we will look at the rupees per kilo line. Then you have the sales volume, which is the cross wala. This is the sales volume, for which we will look at the other side of the y-axis. We are going to look at the right side for how many kilograms were sold. Right? So now let us look at questions. In which year were the maximum profits generated? So maximum profits means that you have to take the difference between cost, right, and the selling price and multiply it by the volume. Okay, so 91 ka profit will be 100 and 200. The difference is 100 into 160, correct? So it's 100 into 160. 16 followed by 3 zeros. Right? 92 mein, this is 150 and the selling price is 210. So that's a difference of 60. Volume is 230. So 60 into 230 is 13800. 93 mein, you have 130, 200, that's 70. And the number of kilos sold is a little less than 160, right? But that doesn't matter. 70 into 160 itself. I think we looked at the wrong number here. Yeah, this number is actually 180. Right? So you have 10800. So this is 70 into 60, 11200. 94. You have 170, 210, that's 40. And sales volume is 2 less. It's close to 150. So ये तो नहीं होगा. Next 95 पे, this is 2 less. Even if the sales volume is 200, the difference is 190 and 210. It's 20 into 200. It's not a lot. And 96, you have 210 and 240. 30 into 160, again 2 less. So the greatest profit is in 91. Option 1. In which year were the cost over sales ratio the lowest? So this is cost per kilo and the sales ratio. So 100 over 160 is your first year. Second year you have 150 over 180. Then you have 130 and 160. The lowest to abhi tak is our first year only. 94 mein, it is close to 150 and 170. This is more than 1. 95, the same number is 200 and 190. And last number 96, guys, that's again more than 1. Right? So answer lowest is in 91. What was the increase decrease in profits from 94 to 95? तो प्रॉफिट्स तो हमने ऑलरेडी कैलकुलेट कर लिया है. 94 का है प्रॉफिट 6000 and 95 का है 4000, so it is 2000 less. If the price growth continues from 96 97 as per 95 96, what would be selling price per kilo in 97? तो जो प्राइस ग्रो हो रहा है, and this is selling price, not cost, right? So let us see how it is growing. From 95 to 96, the selling price is moving from 210 to 240. So from 96 to 97, also that same growth should be there. So what is the growth here? The growth here is 30 on 210, which is 1 by 7. So 240 also should grow by 1 by 7. Correct? So if you just find out how much this is around 34. And then add that to 240. So the new price should be 274. Option 3. In which year the cost as a percentage of the previous year cost escalated the most? So this is not per kilo cost, it's the total cost. Correct? So if you look at the total cost now, and if you look at per kilo also, correct? There is the biggest spike happening here. From 100, correct, to 150, you have a 50% increase in the cost as it is. And quantity wise, 140 is becoming 180. So you are starting with 14,000 and you are ending with 18 into 150, 27,000. That's close to double. Anyway, yahan to it is anyways dropping. Yahan this is increasing, but this is dropping. The second thing you may want to check is 95. So 95 mein the cost is 190. Correct? With volume of 200, so that is 38,000. And before that, the year before that, the cost was 170, right, into 150, which is 25500. So ये तो double के आसपास नहीं है. Correct? This is very close to double. So answer is 1992. Right? Great. Let's look at the next one. Refer to the pie charts. The total sales volume of music systems in 1990 is 15 lakhs. So ये total है 15 lakhs. Okay? Market share है ये. In 1995, music systems, it's 40 lakhs. And television in 1995 is 25 lakhs. Great. So let's look at questions. The number of Kenwood music systems sold in 95 was greater than IIM music system in 95 by. So Kenwood in 95 greater than IIM in 95. So Kenwood is 20%, IIM is 4%, so the difference is 12% of 40 lakhs, that is 4.8 lakhs. Answer is the third option. The percentage market share of Philips in total music system and television sets in 95 was. So I want percentage market share over total. Okay, that means you can't just take an average of these or something. You will have to add the total. Total म्यूजिक और टेलीविजन का मार्केट कितने का है. सो टोटल मार्केट ऑफ म्यूजिक एंड टीवी is 65 lakhs, right? 40 plus 25. उसमें से Philips has 36% of 40 lakhs. That is 14.4 lakhs, right? Philips has 14.4 lakhs in music. And in TV, it has 7.5 lakhs. 30% of 25 lakhs, right? So total it has 21.9 lakhs. So 21.9 lakhs out of 65 is more than 15%, right? If I have 19.5 over 65, that is exactly 15%. And then you have 1.4 extra. 1.3% is 2%, right? So this is a little more than 17%. That's your answer. Oops. So total music system and television sets, right? Market share of Philips. Yeah, this is 30 and 32. 15% nahi hai. This is 30% and another 2%. So answer is 32%. The percentage change in the number of Panasonic music system in 95 over 90 is how much? Yeah. So we are looking at Panasonic in 95 over 1990. So Panasonic 1990 is 15 lakhs ka 10%. So that works out to 1.5 lakhs. Panasonic in 95 is 5% of 440. So that is 2 lakhs. So that's an increase of 0.5 lakhs over 1.5, which is 33%. The price of a music system in 1990 was 2000 per set and 99 was 3000 per set. The percent increase decrease in turnover of Kenwood. Okay. So you have Kenwood 2000 and 3000. So Kenwood ka number of units, correct, in 99 is 10% of 15 lakhs. So that's 1.5 lakhs. And they are selling, correct, at 2000. So since we are going, see, we are only concerned with the percentage change. So I'm not going to care about the 1000. 2000 hai, I'm just going to look at it 2 hai. Because anyways was 1000 cancel ho jayega, right? I don't want to get into ke crore mein hai, kya hai, forget it. So it's 3 lakhs because you're multiplying by only 2. Kenwood in 95 is 20% of 40 lakhs, that's 8 lakhs. And now per unit price is 3, so 24 lakhs. So the growth is 21 on 3, right? So that's a none of these. 21 on 3 is a 700% increase. The number of imported TVs was more or less than imported music systems in 95 by So the number of TVs, right? More or less. तो imported का देखना है हमें सर. So imported music systems is 4 lakhs and imported TVs is 7.5 lakhs. So the difference is imported TVs was more by 3.5 lakhs. Great, let's move on to the next question. The table below gives the results of a survey conducted to find out the investment behavior of resident Indians and non-resident Indians. Indians in the table below refer to resident Indians. Generally when you use the term only Indians, you are referring to resident Indians. These are resident Indians. So let's understand the table. There are 3 types of income level for Indians and NRIs. Okay. They invest in shares, debentures and both. And you are taking a sample including non-investors of different people. So how do I interpret this? So let's say you are looking at this income level. Correct? Between 61,000 to 1.5 lakhs. You take a survey of 690 people, out of which 420 are resident Indians, 270 are non-resident Indians. Out of this 420, 180 are investing in shares, 240 in debentures and 90 in both. So how many are investing in neither? Well, that is going to be 180 plus 240, right? Minus 90. That is the union. Correct? So 180 plus 240 is 420 minus 90 is going to give you 330. So 330 they are investing in at least one. So out of 420, 90 are investing in none. So this is how you have to interpret this. Okay. So great. Now let us start looking at questions. What is the number of resident Indians who do not invest in debentures? Okay, number of resident Indians in the Beachwala group that do not invest in debentures. So total hai 420, out of which 240 invest in debentures. So 180 are not investing in debentures. Right, so answer is the third option. What is the number of investors whose income is less than 60,000 and who invest in only one of the two? Only one, not both, right? So number of investors matlab we are looking at both NRIs and Indians. Now let's focus on Indians first. Right, we are looking at this segment. So shares के लोग है 120, debentures के लोग है 60, right? And both is 30. So this number is 30. Now this whole circle is 120, right? Out of which both is 30. So exactly one here is 90. And यहाँ ये whole circle is 60. Where did we get 60 from? Indians here, Indians this is 90, sorry, not 60. Right? तो ये 90 है, तो ये हो जाएगा 60. 30 बीच का है, right? So exactly one is 90 plus 60, which is 150. This is only Indians. Now similarly, we have to look at NRIs. So NRIs is 90 and 60. Common है, both है 45. तो यहाँ बचते हैं 45, यहाँ बचते हैं 15. So you have 60 NRIs also. Correct? So total is 210. Second option. What percent of investors with income over do not invest in shares or debentures? So again, ये पूरा investors का टोली है. And I want percentage, and I don't want them to invest in either. Right, this category. So total investors is 600 plus 480, 1080. And 150, 120, both is 90. So 150 plus 120, at least one is 150 plus 120 minus 90, which is equal to 180. So 180 is at least one. That means none is 600 minus 180, which is 420. Right? So numerator में 420 आ गया. Now similarly NRIs के लिए करना है कि 120 है for shares, 150 for debentures, neither is 60. So at least one is 210, which means none is 480 minus 210, so that is 270. So you have 690 over 1080, right, which is 230 by 36. This works out to 60% से थोड़ा ज़्यादा, right, 64%. How many investors who invest in at least one of the two shares or debentures have incomes over so much? So this is not a difficult question. They could have made it more tricky by telling us to find the percent. We don't need to find the percent. We just need to focus in this category and find out how many investors invest in at least one. वो तो हमने थोड़ा कर दिया है, correct? कि this is at least one is 180, at least one is 210. So total is going to be 390. Second option. Right? Great. Let's look at some data sufficiency now. So ये थोड़ा interesting है. यहाँ के जो offsets है, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. एक तो of course as usual you will start by analyzing the stem. Correct? Statement A alone के लिए option है, B alone के लिए option है, both together के लिए option है, cannot be answered के लिए option है, but each alone के लिए option नहीं है. So let's hope that nowhere is each alone sufficient, right? So stem के बाद you will check for statement A. If it is sufficient, you can straight away mark 1. If it is not sufficient, you check for B. If this is sufficient, you mark 2. If not sufficient, then you look at them together. If this is sufficient, mark 3. And if it is not sufficient, mark 4. So you see how your decision making goes really depends on these set of instructions, right? So please always focus on the instructions first before you start solving questions, right? So is B greater than C given that A, B, C are all positive or 0? Okay. So first sentence tells us that A plus B is equal to 2A minus 2B. So A is equal to 3B, right? And since they are all positive, we can definitely say that A is greater than B. But of course, it doesn't help. B alone, you have A plus B is equal to 3 times A plus C. Now alone, we have a problem, right? We have A, B and C. So let us look at them together. Let us substitute 3B in A. So you get 4B is equal to 3 times 3B plus C. Right? So you get 9b minus 4b, right, is equal to minus 3c. So 5b plus 3c is 0. So if 5b plus 3c is 0 and all of these are greater than equal to 0, that can only happen when b is equal to c. So both together karke, I can answer the question, is b greater than c, by saying no, it is not. So answer here is third option, both together. What is the average of 5 consecutive prime numbers? तो उसमें से मुझे एक भी मिल जाएगा प्राइम नंबर और उसका पोजीशन मिल जाएगा कि पहला प्राइम नंबर है, दूसरा प्राइम नंबर है, राइट, तो वो एवरेज निकल जाएगा. So the sum of the first 3 numbers is 1 less than the sum of the last 2 numbers. Okay. The sum of the first 3 is 1 less than the sum of the last 2. Okay. So if we start with 2, 3, 5, then 7 and 11. So if you see, the sum of the first 3 is not 1 less than the sum of the last 2. So we can go a little ahead. Correct? Instead of 11, we can take 13. So 24 hai, yahan pe bhi it is not 1 less than the sum of the last 2, right? So you have to, it will be somewhere slightly greater in value. Let's get rid of 3. Let's add 17 now. So this is 30 and this is still not 1 less. Again, you can get rid of 5, add 19 here. So this is 36 and this is still 24 and 31. Okay. Going a little further, you have 23. So this adds up to 42 and this adds up to 41. Now if you go further, let's see what happens, right? 23, you now take 29 and you get rid of 11. So this becomes 52 and yahan pe you have 36 plus 13, you have 49. If you take 31 and you get rid of 13, then you get 60 here and on this side you get 59. So there are 2 cases where this happens. Okay, so it is not sufficient. Average of all the 5 numbers is greater than 8. Both the cases mein the average is greater than 8. So yahan pe answer is going to be option 4, cannot be answered. Right? Great. Let's look at the next 2 questions. A certain directory consists of 20 volumes, each of which is x inches wide, m inches long and q inches thick. If all of the volumes are to be tightly stacked in a rectangular glass case that is m inches wide and x inches deep inside, could the length of the glass case be less than 65 inches? So ये है length. Okay. This deep actually denotes the thickness nahi, but how long the book is. Okay. And the m inches wide, ये m और ये m same है. तो ये जो m होगा, correct? ये m can take care of the m inches long. So this works. M inches long and m inches wide. X inches deep has to go with q inches thick and jitna wide hai into 20 should be less than 65. So Q3 hai does not help us because I have no idea about X. So 1 alone not sufficient. X is 18 and M is 20. So M is not helpful. Right? M तो anyway cancel हो जाता है, but X 18 है So 20 into 18, correct, will give you 72 inches. Now, you can say that this is not sufficient, but what if the depth allows them to be piled up? So together, you can say कि yes, they are sufficient, कि ये नहीं हो सकता because the depth also is not enough. Right? So answer is option 3. Okay? Great. Is P plus Q plus R plus S equal to 4? They are each positive integers but not sufficient. Product PQRS is 1. But well, I could have two possibilities. 1, 1, 1, 1. I could also have 1, 1, minus 1, minus 1. Or all 4 can be minus 1. Correct? So, ये alone not sufficient. This alone not sufficient. Together. So they are all positive. तो ये सब तो निकल गया. ये possibility है, पर there are other possibilities also. 2 into half, right? Plus into 3 into 1 by 3. But the thing is that they are not they are positive but not positive integers. So positive integer में there is only one possibility, and hence the answer is 3. Right? Great. Is A greater than B? That's the question. So of course, 2 alone is not going to be sufficient. Let's check 1 alone. So 2a plus x is equal to 4 times b plus y. Again, x और y के बारे में कुछ पता नहीं है, so 1 alone also will not be sufficient. Now let's get them together. X is equal to 4y. तो यहाँ पे we are putting 4y. So you get 2a plus 4y is equal to 4b plus 4y. So 2a is equal to 4b. So we can say that yes, you know, if A is 2, B is 1, so A is greater than B, but A can be minus 2 and B can be minus 1, in which case A is less than B. So here also answer is 4 because together also it's not sufficient. यहाँ बताया नहीं है कि A, B are positive. बताते तो ये sufficient होता, right? Of the 2000 Fiats and ambassadors stowed away by the authorities for illegal parking, what is the total number of white-colored Fiat cars? Yes. So 2000% of white-colored Fiat cars is equal to the percent of non-white colored. So we can basically break up the cars into, of course, Fiat and ambassador, right? And color-wise into white and non-white. So total है 2000. Okay. Percent of white colored Fiats, which is let's say X, is equal to the percent of non-white colored ambassadors. ठीक है, but again I don't know anything about these two boxes. The total number of white colored cars stored away by the authorities is 500. Alone just tells me कि ये 500 है. So this is 1500. Correct? But again that does not tell me about how many white colored Fiats. Together also, there are a lot of possibilities. I can put your percent of white colored Fiats, right? So I can put your 100, this is 100. So all these numbers will change. I can put 200, 200, again numbers will change. So here both together is also not sufficient. Answer is option 4. In the sequence of all this, A1 to A100, if A1 is 5, A2 is minus 5, what is the value of A24? तो अभी I need to understand कि sequence बनाया कैसे रहे हैं. So if I look at 1 alone, all the odd number terms of the sequence have the same value. So A1, A2, A1, A3, ये सब all will be 5. But it doesn't tell us anything about A24, so not sufficient. All even numbered terms of the sequence have the same value, which means A2 will be equal to A4, will be equal to A6, so on till A24. So 2 alone is sufficient. Answer is option 2. AD is both the central diagonal of a regular hexagon and the diameter of the circle. So if I just draw a circle here, and you have a hexagon, right? So this is one. So now you can draw the hexagon. And this same. It is a regular hexagon, so it's a hexagon inscribed in a circle. Now a hexagon inscribed in a circle, or a hexagon anywhere, actually regular hexagon, is made up of 6 equilateral triangles. In a circle, what happens is that your side of the hexagon is also the side from the center of the hexagon is also equal to the radius of the circle. Right? So now coming back to this, all the vertices of the hexagon lie on the circle. So ये inscribed के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. So A is helpful but not sufficient. The numerical value of the area of the circle is pi times the length of the side of the hexagon. So 2 alone gives us a relationship, correct? But if it is not inscribed, that relationship is not sufficient. But together, we can say that yes, it is numerical value is pi into side, but that is also equal to pi r square, and side is r itself, so r will be 1. So together it is sufficient. Answer is option 3. Right? Great. Next questions. These are reasoning based single questions. A new package by technologies for saving up to 25% water in rice cultivation has been developed by scientists. The technique includes wet seeding, intermittent irrigation, and proper land leveling. Wet seeding has been demonstrated to be a promising technology for meeting the water needs of rice. Okay, so you're saving water by doing wet seeding. Which of the following could be a plausible objection to the claims above? You want to show, correct, कि ये पानी का need save नहीं हो रहा है. So that when you're saving 25% water, okay, that is not enough. If the above conditions result in excess growth of weeds and weeding becomes difficult when water is less, perhaps. So then if water is less, you cannot really control weeds. But how do weeds affect rice cultivation? That is not mentioned. Weed management in wet seeded rice can be achieved by early flooding, पर इसमें पानी बहुत लगता है. In intermittent irrigation, the field is irrigated and allowed to dry out. ये तो intermittent irrigation is completely out of scope. The method is widely adopted in China, where the farmers face shortage of water and get incentives and water is saved. So 4 strengthens. Okay. 2, may weed management in wet seeded rice can be achieved by early flooding. May you are showing that you will need more water than usual, right? So answer is option 2. Great. The government has been advised by an expert team to solve the problem of disposal of molasses, a waste material from sugar mills, by encouraging the industry to set up distilleries for using molasses as raw material to produce alcohol by fermentation. तो ये जो मोलास का डिस्पोजल है, राइट, उसके लिए डिस्टिलरीज डालो और ये मोलासेस से अल्कोहल बनाओ. Which of the following is an appropriate reason for industries not to set up distilleries? तो इसको भी आपको थोड़ा weaken करना है कि this is not going to work. The cost of fermenting alcohol from molasses is high and the price ceiling on alcohol doesn't permit any increase in price to offset the production cost. So you say that they not profitable, so this is looking very good. It is not profitable, so why will I go ahead with it? Sales tax on liquor. Nahin, is a sales tax and getting sanctions for sugar manufacturing. It's about why we won't set up distilleries, not about sugar. So 2 is out. Is not a harmful effluent and thus its disposal do not pose any immediate threat. Immediate nahi, par long term threat ho sakta hai. Right? So 3 is not helpful. Experts' team suggestion may be biased and implementation of any policy requires adequate validation. May be biased. Does not mean is biased. So best is option 1. Professor X, the university should do away with internal assessment and make student evaluations more objective. But annual external examinations do not assess a student's personalities, which are equally important. So if you see, ये कोई अलग ही बात कर रहा है, right? कि objective करो, subjective नहीं, और ये कुछ अलग ही बात कर रहा है कि personality भी देखो, correct? Which of the following can be properly inferred? University scholars differ greatly in their views on the objectives of university education. So this is good क्योंकि काफी अलग दो चीजें हैं. Has not consulted academicians. No, we don't know whether they were consulted or at all. Subjectivity is rampant. No, that just takes care of the first thing. Development of personality should be a more vital aim. No, best is that they differ. Right? Answer is option 1. Which of the following arguments is similar? Company X recruits trainees based on their work experience. If it recruits a trainee without considering work experience, the trainee should be from university Y. तो generally वो work experience देखते हैं. The exception is कि Y से हो तो work experience नहीं देखते. Graduates from college P are absorbed in jobs immediately after degrees are awarded. If degrees are not awarded on time, they are not. So ये general का एक exception है जो यहाँ पे नहीं बता रहा है. This is very logical argument. If degrees are not awarded in time, they are not absorbed in jobs, right? A certain school admits tiny tots into the preschool section based on their parental education. If it admits children whose parents are not educated, the children should be from ward B. It is perfect. Perfect replica. इसको तो आगे भी no need to check. Girls who take up jobs immediately after graduation are fewer. If they take up jobs, they are rewarded. This is very logical. Men who marry before 25 are less responsible if they marry after 50. This is also, answer is option 2. Correct? Great. Which of the following is a flaw in the argument above? The common notion that workers are apathetic about management issues is false. Apathetic means they don't care, they are unconcerned, indifferent. A recent survey on employees of 3 public sector units indicates that 75% of the 750 workers interviewed expressed a high level of interest in the topics of corporate restructuring. So, they are saying that the argument is false because of the survey. Maybe the survey was not properly taken. Survey technique is not the most reliable research tool, perhaps. But we can't really go based on survey, right? Public sector units are fewer in number. Public sector का कुछ लेना देना नहीं. A recent survey on employees of 3 public sector units. This is sorry. This is important. If I am saying basing my sample on public sector and there are very few public sectors, then how can I come up with a conclusion about management issues in general? So 2 is good. Generalization is drawn based on limited evidence, but ठीक है, that limit होता ही है evidence का. Assumption of the argument is not used. So no, best is option 2. Right? It is believed that Kabini spring water contains several of the minerals necessary for good health and that it is completely bacteria free. Residents of Kabini are less frequently hospitalized, so the spring water available in bottles is expensive. Drinking it is better than drinking tap water. So residents of Kabini के assumption ये है कि उन लोग खुद Kabini का पानी पी रहे हैं, इसलिए they are less frequently hospitalized, right? If the residents of Kabini are drinking tap water instead of these bottled water, right? So they are not drinking the spring water, then this whole argument drops. Water other than that of Kabini springs may also contain minerals. No, all minerals may not be good for health, right? All brands of bottled water are expensive. That is, but most residents who fall ill do not. This is good. Why are they less frequently hospitalized? Not because of the water, because they don't go to the hospitals. So answer is Fourth option, I'm introducing another cause. यहाँ पे they are saying कि cause ये है कि उन लोग अच्छा पानी पीते हैं, पर cause can be something else. So that is when you introduce another cause, you weaken the argument. People have great interest in gourmet food as evidenced by huge responses from readers of the Times of India to its weekend food special edition with color pictures. Therefore, the restaurant industry will have a boom in the coming days. इसमें problem ये है कि you are assuming all restaurants are catering to gourmet food. And just because I see pictures doesn't mean I'm interested in food. Right? There are other features which have wider circulation that doesn't do anything to the current argument. बाकी features का क्या हो रहा है, right? Generally only read weekend, but that does not explain why they are looking at food. Who responded to the feature do not eat out often. That's great. The people who like gourmet food are not going to use restaurants, so why should restaurants have a boom? Answer is option 3. Are attractive and tempting. This is a general statement. Great. Which of the following, if true, strengthens the above argument? Rockford High School began assigning group projects to its students while reducing the number of classroom lectures. This resulted in some impressive achievements in the recent term examinations. To improve academic standards, schools should assign more of group projects. They are saying कि classroom कम करो, group बढ़ाओ, तो students do better, and I want to strengthen it. So I want to say that yes, the reason that they have done better is because of the group projects, not because of anything else. Loudale School that follows a conventional curriculum has higher academic achievements. This weakens. We want to strengthen, so 1 is out. A study conducted on selected high schools revealed higher academic achievements that used project methods for teaching concepts. ठीक है, project में group हो सकता है. Rockford has deviated from the conventional methods of teaching, and this change requires more qualified teachers. इसका strengthening ये है that if the teachers are more qualified, the academic standards will improve. So more than 2, where project method is not clear, 3 strengthens more. Okay, because you're deviating from conventional, you're getting better teachers, so academic standard will go up. Teachers are more comfortable following, this does not help, right? So answer is option 3. Many new sources of natural sweeteners have been identified in certain plants. These can provide non-saccharine sweeteners whose demand in the country is increasing due to the rising number of diabetic patients. Okay, so have been identified because of diabetic patients, this will go up. The plant-derived sweeteners do not have any adverse impact on health, which is the problem of synthetic sweeteners. So plant ka sweeteners, right, is good for health instead of synthetic sweeteners. Which of the following, if true, would make large-scale production advisable? Because it's good for health. Herbal sweeteners do not have any adverse impact on health, a common problem of synthetic sweeteners. Helpful, but large-scale production ko hame, I need something that talks about how it can happen in the large scale. In which sweeteners are identified are widely available and need not have to be cultivated. हाँ, अगर they are widely available, then we can go into large-scale production. Can also replace sugar as regular can, तो ये तो है ही, but why large-scale? 3 does not answer that. These herbal sweeteners contain which are good for health. But the only thing that talks about large scale is the second option. Okay, there's enough material available. If you go at large scale, you will have enough raw material to work with. Yeah. Which of the following can be inferred from the above? A new technology for grinding spices involves the use and injection of liquid carbon dioxide and liquid nitrogen in a grinding chamber for the grinding process. This results in the packed spices to be microbe-free and with better shelf life. So this is important. The better shelf life and microbe-free is important. Correct? Currently, spices have been ground and packed using conventional methods. Yes, you can say that because this is a new technology. There have been no effective means of preserving. We don't know whether other means are there or not. The new technology could be used for other food processes also, we don't know. Liquid and nitrogen, yes, if it is microbe free, then 4 is much better than 1. This definitely can be inferred, right? So answer here is the fourth option. Question 37. Which of the following, if true, would undermine the prediction above? To reverse the deterioration of the postal services, the government should raise the prices of postage stamps. This solution still no doubt prove effective, since this price increase will generate large revenues and will also reduce the volume of mail, thereby eliminating the strain on existing system and contributing to improved morale. पर अगर आपका वॉल्यूम कम हो रहा है तो फिर प्राइस इंक्रीज से आपका रेवेन्यू नहीं बढ़ेगा. That is the problem in this. So to offer better services may have to reshuffle its existing workforce. That does not really undermine. Increasing prices may only be one of the factors that may contribute to the quality of services. Right? So if there are other factors, then obviously quality is not just going to improve by increasing price. If stamp prices are increased, people may depend on private courier service whose service is better for the same rate. So this is best. If you increase price, people will not go for the same volume. Your volume is definitely going to drop, right? Private may increase the cargo charges. No, this does not help. So यहाँ पे answer is option 3. Great. Next. A and B are the only two children of their parents. A is the sister of B. So A is a female. B ka gender we don't know. B is the brother-in-law. So B is the male, right? Of C. So C must be the husband of A. D is the sister of C. So this is wife, this is husband, this is sister, and these two are brothers and sisters. So how is D related to A? D is the sister-in-law. Radhika walks northeast. So this is your north, south, east and west. So northeast is in this direction, right? So she walks northeast. And after some distance turns left. So this is, now she is going in the northwest direction. Then she turns left again. So now she is going in the southwest direction. So answer is option 3. Great guys. Here is your puzzle for tomorrow. Given that A, B and C are positive integers, solve the following equation. Right? Where you have A factorial into B factorial is A factorial plus B factorial plus 2 raised to C. So of course, ये थोड़ा 3 variables, 1 equation, it looks a little bhayanak, right? But it can help if you just divide by the smaller factorial. So let's assume A is greater than B and you divide by B factorial. So you get A factorial is equal to A factorial by B factorial plus 1 plus 2 raised to C. So this may be a little easier to solve. इसके बारे में आप सोचिए. We'll discuss it whenever we meet next. Guys, tomorrow I'm doing a very important video on which management entrance exams you need to take. So please be there for the video. It will help you focus on the right exams, right? And of course, you can see me on Unacademy. So I'm taking a lot of special and plus classes, guys. YouTube में बहुत सारा free content है, I know, but Unacademy has the perfect environment. आप YouTube पे question पूछोगे, it is tough for me to solve, but Unacademy में आप question पूछोगे, that question comes on my screen, it becomes very easy for me to solve doubts, right? So besides the great environment, great interaction, you have live polls, you have leaderboards, right? And you have a lot of test series. So let me again remind you, correct? Okay, we are having the National Scholarship NST है, right? NST start हो रहा है. So there are a lot of prizes to be won here. Every Sunday you have one section ka test, right? And this Sunday you have math. So please go ahead, take a subscription for it, enroll for it. I will see you again then for the test analysis. Which subscription to take, guys? If you are focused on CAT 20, you should look at the 6-month subscription. But if you're confused between 20 and 21, then you can look at the 2-year subscription model. Do use my code Munira10 to get a great discount, right? So I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.